evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. This evening we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing Divine Onyeleonu. And she helps small to medium-sized businesses to manage their day-to-day operations. Virtual assistance is her thing. A little bit more about Divine. She provides services as follows: bookkeeping, digital marketing, project management, human resources, copywriting, and executive aid. What a wonderful portfolio. Enjoy this interview with us. And with that, we want to welcome our guest, Divine. Welcome, Divine. Good evening, Meticulous Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for another amazing session on the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And tonight we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing Divine Onyeleonu. Did I say that correctly, Divine? Please assist me there.
That's correct. Hi, my name is Divine Onyeleonu.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, Divine, we've spoken quite extensively because to match our calendars was quite an issue. You know, we're all so busy and everything's always going at such a fast pace. So I know you by now. We had a virtual coffee. I think we had two. And I want to ask you, will you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me, Juanita. My name is Divine Onyeleonu, and I like to call myself a digital business manager.
Wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, you're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner, and I did a keynote last night for the Connected Leaders Academy in which I explained to them what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. That being that an entrepreneur is someone that looks to make money long term, and a business owner is someone that makes money day to day. They make plans for day to day capital, and sometimes we are both. Like I'm both, for instance, and I perceive that you are both. So tell me, Divine, what point in your life did you realize that you want to be an entrepreneur?
At some point in my life, I feel like I've always known that I just had a knack for business. I mean, I remember as a kid, like, childhood memories. I used to have, I would call it daydreams of me owning my own company and managing my own organization. And I just always had a knack for negotiation, working with team, and building something from ground up. That's something that I've always just enjoyed doing, even as a child. So
wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Tell us more about. We spoke a little bit about this. What is positive work ethic? What does that represent to you?
Positive work ethics, I'm going to say that applies for both the client and the employees, especially as a business owner. Having a positive work ethics, there are some times where it's so tough in your business that you have just a rough day and you get swarmed with many questions from employees and you just really want to snap. And the ability to hold back and just patiently talk to people and patiently communicate with people. That for me is an excellent work ethics. Applies for whether you're with the clients, because sometimes you have difficult, incredibly, we come across them all day as an entrepreneur. You come across difficult clients that are almost impossible. And sometimes you have clients that are easygoing, it's just like the conversation just flows and everything just flows. So being able to handle both of them, both the difficult clients, the difficult employees, and the easy ones, and being able to shine through regardless of what's going on or how it affects your day, and just having that positive attitude towards your employees and your clients, that counts for me as a positive work ethics. And that's something that I always try to apply in my day-to-day, life when I run the organization.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you handle difficult clients? What is your go-to plan now that we are on the topic?
Yeah. I would say patience is a lot. I always define patience as the ability to wait for things that you can't control. Because again, sometimes some clients are just difficult. Maybe they don't know that they're being difficult, but being able to just hold back. I know some of us just really want to snap and just scream at the clients most of the time. But just patience. Take a deep breath. Yeah. If they're going on and on and on, just let them talk, let them vent out. And then you quietly acknowledge the problems that they have and then find a solution for them. Tell them what the solution is. That's, for me, is the best way to handle, because you are going to meet a lot of difficult clients when you work in a business. That's unavoidable. You're going to come across them.
So you've had your fair share of difficult customers before.
Believe you me, I've had my hands full with them a lot of the times. Yes.
And how long have you been doing this? I haven't asked you that yet.
Yeah. Well, I started it as just a virtual assistant by myself last year when I was looking to expand myself and grow my business. And I fully developed it as an organization when I started hiring employees in May. That's when we became Divine Assistants as an organization.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Tell me, Divine, now you and I both have very busy schedules. And life happens in between. And I want to ask you, work-life balance, I've actually read articles that say that work-life balance is a myth. Then I've read books that say if you have your routine in place, it is possible. If you have the discipline, it is possible. In your opinion, do you practice work-life balance? How should leaders practice work-life balance? Is it true? Is it a myth? Does it apply to some people? Does it apply to other people? Maybe not so much.
I think it can apply to everybody. You just have to know how to manage that. As an entrepreneur, you will get tough days. But one thing that I've learned to practice, I actually had problems balancing my work life with my personal life when I started out. But one thing that I've eventually learned to do is to delegate whatever it is that I can delegate to my team. There are certain things that you can pass on to the team. You don't have to do it. If you have a team in place that you know and trust, especially when you're doing your hiring process, make sure that whoever you're hiring understands not only how to do their job, but understands exactly what your goals are for the company. And when you hire them, trust that they would be able to carry out the task that you're giving to them. If they're not able to do that, then that's when you have your probationary period. In the probation period, it's a time for you to teach them how to do the job that they're supposed to do. And if they're not working fine in the probationary period, see whether or not you can extend the probationary period, or if you need to let them go. But hire the right people for your team so that you can delegate and pass on certain things that your team can handle. If you pass that on to your team, it would clear up a lot of items for you on your plate. Same thing happened to me when I started out. I remember for about 3 months, I had a lot of clients and there was so many things that I was doing. And for that 3 months, I never thought about business growth. I never thought about business development. Not that I didn't want to do it, but I was so swarmed in the little tasks, carrying out the day-to-day activities and checking the emails and responding to calls and all of these tiny activities that I could pass on to somebody. And I was thinking, I'm saving money, but I wasn't really saving money because it was my time that was going into that. You know what I mean? And I have to pay myself. So delegate whatever is it that you can delegate to your team and trust that they will carry it out. Make sure that when you're hiring, you hire right, you do the hiring process correctly so that you can pass on certain items that your team can handle. And then you think about the bigger picture. You look towards the growth and the development of the organization, because you can't, one thing that my mom always tells me is you can't look into the future if you keep coming back to square one. You need to be able to grow on a daily basis, but you cannot do that if you're always stuck in the same level. You need to let that go, let somebody else take care of that while you go ahead and do what you do best.
Good, some wise words from mom right there. And I want to ask you, as you are speaking now, the probationary period, how long is that normally? I know in South Africa, probationary period is 3 months.
Yeah.
Is it the same for you?
Yes, for virtual employees, we do a 1 month probationary period. And if we think at the end of the day that person needs more time in probationary period, we will give them more time. But usually we start with the 1 month. That's the basic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good to know. So Divine, we get to working, we get to a place where we get busy. Those first 3 months, you didn't have an assistant. You were not delegating you because you mentioned that you felt that you were saving money. It was costing you your time. I'm sure burnout was knocking at the door, maybe passing by the house, looking through the window at you. So I want to ask you, how do you stay motivated when you go through tough times like that? Because we all have a go-to for that. What's your go-to?
My go-to, to be honest, is my mom. I think that all of us at some point, whenever we get stuck, the first person that we pick up the phone to call is usually family or friends. And I think that's a good practice. My mom lives in Nigeria, so the first thing I usually do is either I call my sister or I call a friend of mine, people that I know can either give me advice. Like if I feel like I'm stuck, I have a group of friends who are really, really encouraging, that understands what I'm trying to do, and they help in, whatever way that they can, even if it's just giving advice. And of course, my mom, like sometimes she doesn't know, how to run the business, but she prays and she says, okay, I'm praying for you. And that alone is, motivation to keep moving forward. So I think just having a good support system, it's very important in business, whether it's just that one person that, you can go to, even if they don't have the advice to get you out of that problem at that time, at least they can give you words of encouragement. Just sharing it with somebody, you can do it. I know I can do it. I know what I want to do, and I know that I'm capable of achieving those goals. But sometimes hearing it from somebody else just gives you that boost that you need in order to just scale up, in my opinion.
So family support, mainly family support and prayer. Amen to that. What would we do if we didn't have people praying for us? I'm a believer. I agree with you. I'm in the ministry, so prayer is a very big part of my life as well. Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, as a team in the BC COVID days, we had team building weekends, we had team building activities, we had seminars, we had summits that we visited. Now everything is changed. Everything has changed since COVID. Everything is either only online or it's hybrid. I want to ask you, and that's how you work. You are online mostly, I believe. What is your favorite activity to conduct with your team when you facilitate a team building or something similar?
Yeah. Well, we try to do something like a town hall. We used to do it on a weekly basis, but now we have pushed it off to a monthly basis, where the team get to share their wins. I think that was actually an idea I got from a client of mine, because when she usually likes to have, daily meetings, and the daily meeting she would ask, what is your win for today? So I kind of took that, because I think that having people share their wins. Like sometimes it's just something good happened. Whether you're just thankful that you woke up that day, or you found a coin on the floor and you picked it up. Whatever your win is, and you wanted to share with the whole team, go ahead. The floor is yours. Before we get into the numbers and what we are doing and what we're not doing and who's lagging behind and who's not, just share what you're thankful for today, and we go from there. That's the first thing that we try to break. We first of all try to break that. I guess open up that communication system with the team first before we then move into any subject of the day.
And it works for you and your team. So I think every team formalizes something that works for that specific team. That's a very good idea. Now, how big is your team at the moment? Because you started out only with you. And how big has your team grown since last year?
I would say since July, because that's when I started hiring. Since July, we've grown we have about 11 employees right now.
Okay. And how many companies do you service?
Right now, I think we have about 8 active companies. Yes.
That's good. That's good. So the team is growing, the team is getting training, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But tell us first, what do you do? I mean, for the people that maybe hop on in the middle of the session, for someone that hasn't, really got the grasp on what you do, please explain your portfolio to us.
Yes. Well, like I said earlier, I like to call myself a digital business manager, which is what we are also, what Divine Assistance is about. So a digital business manager is a virtual assistant, but instead of a one person as a virtual assistant, you get a team of virtual support. So think about it like this. If you are a startup company and you're trying to start up your business idea and you don't know where to begin, our team can literally help you from concept to, I wouldn't say completion, but concepts to complete growth. So we've had some businesses in the past who've come to us and they didn't even have a logo, they didn't have a color palette, they didn't have their goals written out, or they didn't even have the flow of how the business is supposed to operate. And we start from getting the business developer to map out exactly how it's going to flow from when a lead is generated to when they close to client relationship. And the graphics team go ahead and makes the logos and the color palette for the client. The IT team makes the websites that's needed. And then after all of that is completed, then we start marketing. So marketing comes in and marketing starts developing this business and branding and growing the company, getting leads to come into the organization. So whether you are a small business or you're already an established company that just needs virtual administrative support, you need somebody that can help you online, for 2 hours a day or 8 hours a day, or you're looking for a graphics team or a social media manager or a marketing team in general, or web development, website management, literally every business need, that's what we provide. We attend to all your business needs or what exactly you need at that time. That's what we attend to.
Good. So if you don't have it in your portfolio, do you add it if it's needed?
Yes, of course. I think it's in my portfolio, but whatever, we try to outsource talent to get the entrepreneurs what they need. That's what we do. So we outsource the talent for you. We already have people who work with us, but if there's something that's not in our grasp right now, and you leave a message and you say, I'm looking for somebody that can do this, we will outsource the talent for you, specifically for you.
Oh, I see. So how did all of this start? How did it start? What was that point in time where you thought, okay, now I'm going to start this? And what is your growth rate of your business?
Well, I started, like I said, as a virtual assistant. I was still, I knew that I wanted to be an extension of virtual assistant, not just a virtual assistant, but there needs to be an extension of it. And it took me a while to figure everything out and put all the pieces together, because I was still trying to sort for the answers. I had the answers at the back of my head, but I didn't know how to develop those answers. I didn't know how to actually answer the questions that I had. So, of course, doing a lot of research, learning, education, has helped me develop, like actually understand exactly the concept that I'm trying to develop. And for our growth rates, we are growing incredibly fast. I mean, I would say the business actually started in July, because that's when we actually started hiring employees. I was doing it myself, but it was a 1 month business. But since July till October, that's about 3 months, and the growth rate has been rapid. We have increased our sales by over 20%. We have increased our employees by a lot, and we're looking to grow some more before the end of this year as well.
Good. And tell me, Divine, who is your role model?
My mom, of course. My mom, my parents. I think that the idea for giving education to women, specifically in Africa, that idea is something that I know would make her incredibly happy, because my parents, not just my mom, actually, my parents, both my mom and dad, they are all for education, and they did everything that they could possibly do to ensure that we had a good educational system. I mean, I don't remember missing a day in high school. It was school every single day, unless I was sick or unless I had like an important, government meeting or visa application. But literally every day you go to school without fail. No reason, whether it's raining or the sun is hot, you got to go to school. So I think the idea for the education system and helping spread that educational pattern all over Africa, that's something that I know she would really, really appreciate, because she did everything that she knows she could possibly do. My parents in whole, with my dad and my mom, they did everything they could do within their power to get us good schools, get me and my siblings properly educated, and we never got sent out of school for not paying school fees. It all got sorted out, regardless of what was going on in the family. So I appreciate them for that.
Absolutely. They assisted you to become a success, and I think that's why you also love to assist others. To just be better and grow more and develop all these skills. Because really, I always tell people with leadership, if you're a leader, you develop and you grow consistently and constantly. And there's a difference between that. And what is that? Being consistent, to be at school, like you said, every single day, unless there's a really good reason. Constantly growing, looking for opportunities to develop personally and professionally. So that's good that you took everything that you've learned and you've transferred it over to your team. And that is now creating that company culture that you want. We call it creating company culture, because everyone knows what is the standard that is expected of them. So I want to ask you about the training, because you mentioned something. You said that if there is a gap, if there is a lack, if someone needs a certain type of service and you are not yet offering those services, you go out and you outsource someone. You go and find someone. You do the heavy lifting, you do the footwork, you do the calls, you take away that burden from your client. So training-wise, you mentioned that there's a month's probation for a virtual assistant. So I want to ask you, what training models do you use? How do you approach that? How do you put them through that process? How is that conducted?
Now, what we have on ground is, I guess I would say a demo. I would do the work. I show them how I do it, and then we do one together, and then they do one themselves. So that's how we've been issuing the training model, right now. For instance, in the dev team, we've had people, they have experience working the website developers, but they don't know how to use a particular system or software. So I know how to use it. I show them, this is how I do it. This is how you can do it. So you can try doing one yourself. And if you don't if you're stuck, you come back to me, let me know. I'll feel that like answer the questions for you. That's what we've been doing right now. But the goal for Divine Assistants is to create a training module, like a university. That's the next step that we're working on this development right now, to create an actual learning system for them, that when you come in, you sign into the learning program, you get all the courses you need. And after you finish the courses, you get your certificate of completion. So we are working on this development.
Good. So tell me, do you train certain people for certain jobs, or do you train them to be able to be fluent in every area of the company? How does that work for you?
So we train for certain jobs. Marketing specializes in marketing, because we don't want to have one person that's trying to do it all. That's the concept that we're trying to avoid. And we also have the first thing that I started doing was to build a team of managers that knew how to do exactly what I needed them to do. So we have for instance, in the marketing team, we have the marketing head of marketing who is also guiding each individual in the marketing team on how to do certain things. And if they get stuck, we come back, we answer questions for them. The dev team, same thing applies for them. The administration team, same thing applies. So this is what we have been doing right now. And together, we're going to put together a training module, an actual training course for them to go in there, see everything. Because as we grow as a company, we cannot individually train every one of them. So it's better to put it in a system that they can learn from there and go forward.
That's good. That's good practice. And I want to ask you, what is next for you? You are building your company. You are getting new people that you are training. You are outsourcing, so you're growing your expertise as well, which is good. That's healthy growth. So I want to ask you, what is next for you?
Yes. So, like I mentioned, we're trying to create an actual system, like not just like a workflow, but like a software system that helps train, but also helps businesses. Like if you pair our system with our services, you can literally passively manage an active business. This is the next development that we are bringing on, so that you as an entrepreneur, whether you have a business or an organization that you're trying to run, you can actually passively run it instead of being active on it on a day-to-day basis. So you pretty much just show up and do whatever you need to do while we take care of the rest with the systems, all the automations. That's the next step. So the dev team is really working hard, and we're ready to share the project, but we are still working on a few glitches. And once we have that all figured out, we'll start sharing that with the world.
Good. So you work hard and then you work smart.
Yes, exactly. That's the goal.
That's a good approach, because then, when you've managed to facilitate this, you'll be able to get more and more customers and service bigger companies. So that's a very good plan. Absolutely. And I want to ask you, do you have any words of wisdom for the audience? Anything that you would like to share with them, to leave them with, so that they can think over it and savor it this week?
Words of wisdom, I would say, don't be discouraged as an entrepreneur. There are good days and there are bad days, and sometimes the good days last long. The bad days last longer than the good days, and it feels like, especially when you're starting out, it may feel like you want to quit. But if you quit, that's when you lose. Like, it's difficult, but it's not the end yet. You can definitely, find the tunnel, the lights at the end of the tunnel. But when you quit, that's when you lose. So keep fighting. If you have bad days, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Not every day is going to go perfect. And try again later. But don't stop trying.
Don't stop trying. Very, very good. And Divine, it was such a wonderful pleasure to have you on Meticulous Moments, to hear what you are busy with, what you are building. So thank you for joining us and for taking the time to do this. We appreciate you, and we're going to make your contact details available at the end of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Juanita. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for joining us, Meticulous Moments audience. We will make Divine's contact details available at the end of the session, and you know what to do. We'll see you in the next session. Bye-bye.